Let's start for today. Where did we stop in the last class? I guess we were talking about abstract classes. So that is where we have stopped in the last class. So today, uh, I'm going to talk about an important topic: interfaces. So before I start this concept, interfaces concept, I just want to know. Uh, I want to hear this from you people. So, uh, what do you know about interfaces? What are interfaces? Can you people tell me? Yes. So whatever you know about interfaces, tell me. Whatever you know about interfaces, tell me. Okay. No idea. Interfaces. So is anyone speaking? Anyone answering this question? I'm sorry, couldn't hear people. So if so, no. Okay, fine.
Communicating.
Yeah, I can hear you, Vani.
Hello?
Yes. Hi. Tell me.
Uh, yes, meeting and communication between the computer and the user.
Okay, interface means a communication between. It represents a communication you're saying between the user and the system. Okay, fine. I do agree. Fine. What else we can talk about interface? Yes. Yes, Sadbir. Uh, you want to answer the question?
Yeah, the interface are nothing is like a abstract class. So in interface we define all the abstracts method. We cannot define we can only declare the method. We cannot define any method. And the first concrete class must implement all the method defined in the declare in the interface. And interface can extend another interface.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, this is all about interface.
Okay, fine. So what you said is right. I do agree. But where do we use this concept of interfaces here? What is the application for that? Okay. So without wasting any time now.
Connect with another computer.
I'm sorry. Please go on.
Connecting with another computer
Connecting with another computer.
or any other.
Okay. Connecting to other computer. So that is what you're saying interface. Okay. Yes, what you people are saying is right. Each of you, okay, Sadhir was talking about it with respect to the programming, and one is also discussing about it, giving a high level overview of it. Yes. Okay, Neil, hi. You got some issue with the sound. Still, you're facing the same issue. Can't you hear me? Okay.
The interface are define the contracts what class can do without like telling the what it can what how it can be done. So it's tell the class like how what the class can do.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, right. That's right. Exactly. Now that makes a very important point here. Now I'll give you people a definition for interface. If someone asks you what is interface, you can say this. They'll be really impressed. So an interface is a collection of operations that are used to specify the that is used to specify a service of a class. Okay, so there are a few statements which I'll give you people. First of all, what is the statement here? It says an interface is a collection of operations that are used to specify a service of a class. It is used to specify the service of the class here. Yes. Okay, fine. So now we'll talk about another statement. I'll tell you. Don't worry what I'm talking about. Yes. Don't worry. I'll explain all this, but please make a note of it. Interface is used to specify a contract for a class. Interface is used to specify a contract for a class. Yes. Okay. Please make a note of it. So I can say that interface is used to specify contract. What does this means exactly? Still, you might have some questions here. Don't worry. Now I'll talk about it technically, purely technically. So if we talk about an interface from programming perspective, interface, I'll explain this definition itself. Interface is used to specify a contract for a class or for the class for a class. Yes, sorry. So the class fulfills the contract. Class fulfills the contract by implementing the methods defined in the interface. So the class fulfills the contract by implementing the methods defined, by implementing the abstract methods defined in the interface, I can say. Please make a note of it. Yes, anyone got any questions? No, right? Okay, people who have just arrived, please make sure that you people make a note of these things. I'll explain this. I have a request for you people. Okay, great, Neil. Fine. So I have a request for you people. Please, all of you, try to join the class as soon as possible, because so you people don't need to worry about what's happening in the class. If you join in the middle, sometimes you may get it may be difficult for you to understand. Even I'll feel like, okay, so I've joined late, I have to explain it again. So please make sure that you join the class as soon as possible. Just a request, please try to do that. Okay. Yes. So please make a note of it. Hope you people are done. Interface is used to specify a contract for a class. The class fulfills the contract by implementing the abstract methods defined in the interface. Yes. So now there is a lot to understand here. Let's let's try to understand what exactly the statement says here. The first statement is also very important. So an interface is a collection of operations that are used to specify a service of a class. Yes. So in simple terms, I can say that the interface defines what exactly the class is supposed to do. Okay, what exactly the class is supposed to do. That is what the interface defines here. Yes. So let's consider the example here. For suppose here, if you consider the savings account class which we have defined earlier, again we are going to consider the same savings account class here. Just a minute. Okay. So if we go through the savings account class which we have defined earlier, now savings account class, it represents savings account objects, right? Now if it represents savings account objects, then what methods it is supposed to implement? It is supposed to implement all the behaviors of that savings account objects, right? So when I say savings account class represents savings account objects, then I can say that, then in that case the savings account class has to implement certain methods, right? That means it has to implement the behaviors. So what are the methods which a savings account class is supposed to implement here? What operations it is supposed to provide? You know that we did that, right? Can you people list down them, at least for my satisfaction? Yes, so it has to implement the methods like withdrawal, deposit,
Withdrawal,
right?
deposit,
Yes,
transfer.
yes, that's right. So it has to do that. Okay. So for suppose, let's say we got this withdraw method. Let's say this savings account is not implementing the deposit method. Let's say just assume the savings account class is not implementing that method. That means it is not providing that operation. Yes, but it is supposed to do that. It is supposed to provide that method definitely. So if it is representing the savings account objects, definitely it has to implement that withdraw behavior of that savings account object. But if it is not implementing here, you see, will there be any error from the compiler or JVM that this class is not implementing it? Yes. Or is there anywhere specified that this class has to definitely implement that method? Is there any such specification which defines what methods the class has to implement? Yes. Is Java enforcing it, or can we enforce? As of now, did we do that? No. I can say no, right? So now, if this class is not implementing the deposit method, you know, you'll find that the savings account class, if it is not implementing that method, deposit method, the compiler won't complain, the JVM won't complain, they won't bother about it. Actually, they don't know what methods this class has to implement. You know, there is no such specification which describes what methods this class has to implement, or what methods it has to provide. If you got such specification somewhere, so it would be great. That would be really great. There is no such specification here which specifies or which describes what methods the class has to implement, right? So so I want to make sure that here the class definitely implements all the required methods. And what methods the class has to implement, that if we can specify it somewhere, then that would be great. Yes, right? If we can specify that somewhere, it would be great. Yes. So that is where the interface comes into the picture. That is where the interface comes into the picture. Interface is used to specify what operations the class is supposed to implement, the service the class is supposed to provide. You know, service means the operations represents that service. What operations? Operations means methods here. What it is supposed to implement. So that if it is specified, it will be great, right? Yeah. So that is how through the interface we can do that. Through the interface we can do that. Now we can specify a contract for the class. That is what the second statement says. We can specify a contract for the class here. We can specify the contract for the class, which a class has to fulfill by implementing the methods. What methods it is supposed to implement, that you'll define it in the interface here. Okay, yes. So for example, in this case, now I'm going to define an interface. You see, In the com package, I'll add it. Yeah, just a second, please. Just a second. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. So let's define an interface. How? See, the way we define a class, similarly, we can also define an interface. Okay. Yes. So in order to define an interface here, you can use this wizard which you got. You see, just right click on the package, you got new interface option here. See the way we got a wizard to create a class, to define a class. Similarly, you'll find interface wizard as well. Okay. Yes. Okay. So select this interface option, and now I'll call it as I account service. Let's say you can give any name. So I'm calling it as I account service, and I'll click on finish. You see, so in order to define an interface, you see we use this keyword interface here. We use the keyword interface followed by the interface name. Okay. Yes. So now in this interface we can specify what methods you want the class to implement here. For example, in our case I'll do this. And the deposit method. Now what we are doing here in the interface, you see, we are just defining the abstract methods, I can say. Now this abstract methods, they, you see, through this abstract methods we are specifying what exactly the class or what methods the class is supposed to implement here. So what methods the class is supposed to implement, that will specify it using the interface. Sorry. So now it indicates that here this methods in the interface, it indicates that a class has to implement this methods. Which class, as of now we didn't specify any details here. So these are the methods I want a class to implement. Which class? Savings account class. So this is a contract for the that savings account class. Okay. Now I'll make that class implements that interface. I'll make that class implements that interface. Icon service. That means by making the class, you see, implement that interface, I can say that this class now it is taking up the contract of implementing the methods defined in that interface. It is taking up the contract of implementing the methods defined in that interface, I can say. The class is taking up the contract of implementing the methods in that interface. Okay. Now, this class as of now, is it implementing all the methods defined in that interface? This class here, is it implementing all the methods defined in that interface? Yes, the class here, is it implementing all the methods defined in that interface? You can just check this if you want. Can I say that the savings account class is implementing all the methods which are defined in that interface? Yes, what do you people think? I can say no. So it is implementing that withdraw method, both the withdraw methods, but not the deposit method. So that means the class is not fulfilling this contract, I can say. The class is not implementing all the methods defined in the interface. So the class has to implement it. It is not doing it. So this is an error. You see, we got an error here. So what the error says, the savings account must implement the inherited abstract method iAccountService.deposit. It says the savings account class is implementing that interface. It is inheriting that interface, that method interface method. Yes, you see, I'm sorry. So you see, savings account must implement the abstract method, which it is inheriting from the interface. Okay. Yes. So you got the point here. Yes. So when I say a class implements an interface, that means the class is inheriting that abstract methods defined in that interface and it is supposed to override them. So that is the contract of that class. So through the interface, we can specify what methods a class has to implement. That's it. So now let me just make sure that I'll add this deposit method also here. Yes. Okay. That's it. Now there won't be any error because the class is implementing all the methods defined in that interface here. Yes. So is it clear for you people what we did so far? So any questions? in this regard, please let me know. Yes. So is it clear what we have discussed so far? So any questions or issues in this regard, please let me know. Can I have yes or no, please? Okay.
This interface,
Okay, fine.
it implements only
Yeah, tell me.
this interface. It implements only the behavior and not the properties.
It implements only the inherited methods. That is what you're saying.
Yeah.
As of now, yes, but it can also define other methods or implement other methods also, not a problem. Okay. In this method, in this class, you can have some additional methods also. Okay.
Mm.
There
Okay.
won't be any issues.
Okay. Thank you.
Hope your question is clarified. You got the answer.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, any other questions? Please let me know. Please do not hesitate. Even if you feel like okay, that would be a silly question, still ask me. Okay. Yes. Even if you feel like your question is a silly question, don't hesitate. Just ask me. Okay. Yes. I really appreciate if you ask questions. Yes. Okay. Good. Now I have a question. You know what? Even earlier, without implementing that interface, also we were able to achieve that. So we were able to define all the methods or make that class implements all the methods. What, what if we add an interface here? What is special about an interface here? See, even with earlier also we were able to do the same, right? What makes the difference here? Can you people tell me? What do you people think? Yes. So what do you think by adding an interface, what we are doing it? Yes. What we are achieving exactly here. So savings account isn't a subclass of anything at this point. Yes. It's not a subclass of any other class. Okay. Implements gives this class access to extra methods. Not access to extra methods, but by making this class implements that interface, we are making sure that that class strictly implements, strictly it implements the methods which it has to do. We are specifying the contract, which the class has to fulfill. That is what the statement says here. You see, An interface is a collection of operations that are used to specify a service of a class. So otherwise, you see, if you didn't understand the first statement, second statement should explain it. So interface is used to specify a contract for a class. The class fulfills the contract by implementing the abstract methods defined in the interface. Got the point, all of you? Yes. Even without an interface, still we can only define a class. You can do that. You can go ahead. But if you if you use an interface here, you will find that it indicates that the class, it implements that interface. It indicates that the class has to definitely implement those methods defined in the interface. The interface specifies what methods the class has to implement. Okay. Yes. So this is like, I'll tell you. For suppose, let's say, this is just a normal real life concept, I can say. The interface concept is very much similar to your real life concept. How? For example, let's say you got a plot, a PLOT plot, PLOT plot, and you want to construct a building. But okay, of course, you won't do it on your own. Let's say you approached a builder or a constructor, let's say a builder, you know, to whom you gave the contract of building that, constructing that building, okay, or constructing a house for you. You have approached a builder, so who's going to construct the building for you? So the thing is, let's say you have orally given the requirements, the specifications of the building. Let's say you said, okay, I want 2 floors, I want this hall. Just you're orally explaining it. Just as I want 4 rooms in the ground floor. I want a couple of rooms, 3 rooms in the first floor, G+1. Okay, or something like I want it to be a duplex, whatever it is. Let's say just explain orally everything. And you said, I want it to be completed in 4 months or 3 months, whatever it is. Let's say 3 months. You want that construction to be completed in 3 months. Let's say, and you have given some amount also, initial advance. You gave some advance for the construction as well. Now you see, after 1 month, let's say, you want to check the progress. When you inspect that building, you will find that, okay, so the building was not constructed according to your plan, what you have explained, what you have described. And uh, and uh, yes, there are other issues also. Yeah. Now let's say you're going to just argue with that guy that, I this is not what what I expected. I actually gave a different description, of a different specification, but you have constructed something different here. Yes, but the builder argues that, okay, this is what I understood, and this is what you want me to construct. You see here, now you can't approach anyone legally, because you don't have any documentation for that, right? Now there is no proof of concept or proof that you have actually asked this builder to construct the building this way. You didn't have any such documentation, proof here, which explains that the builder has to construct the building this way, right? So if you give it everything orally, this is what happens. Even if you approach a court, they will ask you, if you want to legally approach anyone, they'll say, okay, have you got any contract signed by this builder? what the builder has to do? Did you provide any description? No, you got any papers for the documents for that? You'll say no. Then I'm sorry. They'll say I'm sorry. I can't do anything in this regard. That is what they're going to say, right? So even you see, we are defining a class. We are defining a class, but the thing is here, or let's say, for suppose you want the class to be defined by someone else, just assume, or someone has defined a class. How will you ascertain, how will you confirm that the class is actually defined appropriately and it represents that object appropriately? So is there any such proof that what exactly the class has to do? So that is where the interface comes into the picture. That is a contract. That is a proof, of concept, what the class has to implement, what the class has to define. Okay, so this is a right approach. Always please try to do this. That is how interfaces are used. Okay, they provide the specifications of the methods the class has to implement, and strictly that class has to implement those methods. You see, not only just making the class to implement set of methods, but you see they will that classes has to follow that method signatures, everything, right? Yes. So how the class has to do, that is not mentioned anywhere, but what the class has to do, that is what is described. Okay, how to do it, that's headache of the class, but it has to what to do, what the class has to implement, what methods it has to implement, that is specified in the interface. Okay, so is this clear for you people? Now your interface, it serves as a contract which we see in our real life. Okay, and you see that also helps the JVM or compiler to understand what a class has to do. Okay, and that acts as a contract, and that acts as a documentation between you and the compiler. So what you want to do, what the compiler is expecting, what compiler should also understand, your Java also should understand, not only compiler, your JVM should also understand what exactly the class should have in it. That's it. So any questions? Okay, think about it. Just give me 1 minute, please. Yes. Sorry. So, any questions? Okay, good. So hope you people got it. Okay. Now, so far I gave you people tasks, right? Okay, good. Couple of people have submitted them. So I'm happy. Even I'm expecting the same from others as well. Yes, please try to complete the tasks. So, so now what I want you people to do is here. If you have implemented the tasks, that exercises which I gave you people, if you have worked with it, now add that interface concept also. Add interfaces also. For example, I gave you people the first task, to define a class for the circle object, right? Define a class for the circle object. Yes. So records are there now. I guess you were there on that class, in that class when I gave the task. Just make a note of it first of all. Please always, I request you people to maintain a running notes and also try to write down all the tasks which I'm giving you. I guess you people remember the task. Defining a class for circle object. Now in that, try to add interface. And another one which I gave you people was to define classes for employee and contract employee and permanent employee. That was another task which I gave you people. So today I'm going to give you people another task. Okay. Yes, fine. But before that, here, first of all, if you understood the concept of interfaces, let's move forward here. Now most of them are very much confused with the abstract class and interface. Now, given a situation, okay, a requirement, whether to use abstract classes or interfaces for this requirement, there will be a big dilemma. But I say there should not be any sort of problem to understand whether to use abstract class or interface for a given problem. Yes. So why I'll tell you people. Yes. First of all, we need to have we need to understand the interface. We need to have a closer look at an interface first of all before we compare this interface with the abstract class. So now you see, if you keenly observe in this interface here, what we did, we have defined methods, and these are abstract methods. You people know that. But have you people noticed it? There is something missing in this methods. What is it? What is missing in this methods? The keyword abstract, that's right. The keyword abstract is missing. So here, but earlier we have learned that yes, abstract keyword is mandatory. If we define an abstract method, that means if we define a method without a definition, if we define a method without a definition or without a body, that method has to be defined as abstract, right? That is what we have learned so far. But you see, now you will find that in the interface, we didn't use that keyword abstract. Why is it so? Why we are not supposed to use it? Because because the keyword, sorry, because in interface we can only define abstract methods. That is the first thing which you need to understand. In an interface, we can only define abstract methods. Okay? In an interface, we can only define abstract methods. We cannot define non-abstract methods or fully implemented methods in an interface. Yes, you can't do that. It is not possible. Okay? So you can try that. For suppose, you see for deposit method, I'll try to add a body or definition. If I do this, immediately I'll get an error. What is the error? What it says? The abstract methods do not specify a body. It says for abstract methods will not have a body, right? We should not provide, or we should not specify a body here. But where did we declare this method as abstract? We never declared this method as abstract, right? This is not a abstract method here. But as far as we are concerned, we never declared it as abstract. Right? You see, by default, the methods in an interface are abstract. We can only define abstract methods. That's the reason why you see we'll get that error if you try to add a body. And the abstract keyword is considered as redundant here. The keyword abstract is actually considered as redundant. Okay? Because anyways you'll only have abstract methods in the interface. So that keyword is considered as redundant here. So hope you people got it. Fine. Okay. Next, you know, in an interface, the methods by default they're not only abstract, even public also. You know, for the interface methods, the only access modifier which you can use is public or abstract. That's it. Public and abstract. That's it. I can say. We can only use public or abstract. You see, for suppose generally, so if we don't use an access modifier here for the method, then what does it means? If you don't use access modifiers for the method, then what is the accessibility or visibility of that method? What is the access modifier which will be considered for this method now? So it is considered as default, right? If we don't specify any access modifier, then it will be considered as default here. That's it. The method is considered as default. Yes. but the interface methods are always public. Okay, even though if we didn't explicitly declare that method as abstract public and abstract, but still you see that interface method is public itself. The interface method is public. Okay, interface method is always public. You got the point, all of you? You cannot declare this interface method as private, protected, or default. Please make a note of it. Couple of points. First of all, you see, in an interface we can only define abstract methods. That is the first point. In an interface we can only define abstract methods. That is the first point. So the second point is, in an interface by default all the methods are public and abstract. In an interface by default all the methods are public and abstract. Yes. We cannot sorry yeah we cannot use any other access modifier for the interface methods. Sorry, we can only use, you can also make a note of this point, we can only use public and abstract modifiers for the class, sorry, for the methods in the interface. We can only use public and abstract modifiers for the interface methods. We can only use public and abstract modifiers for the interface methods. Okay. Yes. Next, actually, why the interface methods are by default public here? Yes. Why they are public by default? Uh, that's not the case, because you see, in that interface will define the methods, right? So which has to be implemented by the subclasses. The methods defined in the interfaces, they have to be implemented by the subclasses. Subclasses should be able to easily inherit these methods and implement them. If the subclass cannot inherit these methods defined in the interface, then they cannot override it, they cannot implement them, they cannot override it, right? So that's the reason why you see the interface methods are public. So always the methods defined in the interface, they are meant to be implemented by the subclasses. That means the classes which inherit this, which implement this interface. Whichever classes implement these interfaces, they should be able to inherit that abstract methods, and they have to implement it. In other words, they have to override it. Yes, this will be only possible if the methods are public, right, without any restrictions. Otherwise, if you declare an interface method as private, it will serve no purpose. Yes, it won't serve any purpose. Okay, hope you people got it. Next, you know, in an interface, we can only declare final static variables. In an interface, we can only declare final static variables. Okay. Final static variables. In an interface, we can only declare final static variables. In interface, we can only declare final static variables here. Yes. You see, if I declare a variable like this, you'll get an error, int I. So generally, it is a non-static variable, right? You can think of it as an instance or a field. We can do that in the class. We can just declare a variable like this, so it will be considered as a non-static or an instance variable, right? But you see, you'll get an error here. So what is that error says? The blank final field I may not have been initialized. It says blank final field I may not have been initialized. What does that means? Can someone explain this error? Yes. So can someone explain this error? It says blank final field. What does that means? Yeah, it says it's a blank final field. That means it's a final field, it says. But we didn't declare this variable as final, right? So did we declare this variable as final? No, we didn't declare this variable as final. But it says it's a final field. As I told you people, by default, the variables in interface are considered as final static variables. So this variable which you got here, you can say that it is definitely equivalent to public, static, and final. Even though if you don't do this, still this keywords will be added. Public, static, final. Okay. Because it's a final variable, while declaring itself, you have to initialize it. Otherwise, it is an error. As part of the declaration itself, you have to assign a value. So that means in an interface, we can only declare constants. Non-static variables cannot be declared. Only static variables, that too, they should be final. Only constants, final static variables are allowed. Only final static variables are allowed. Yes. So is it clear for everyone? So, you know, an interface can extend another interface, same as class. The way one class can extend another class, similarly, interface can extend another interface, where the interface will be inheriting the methods of another interface. So that I don't want to highlight much here, but anyways, we'll see one of the applications later on. Okay. Yes. So this is about the interface, and there is now one important point which you need to know here at this point. So what is that point? You know, so far we have discussed about inheritance, right? We saw one class can inherit the properties, members. Of, sorry, I can say one class can inherit the members of another class. One class can inherit the members of another class, right? A class can extend another class. Actually, a class can extend how many classes? A class can extend how many classes? A class can extend how many classes? Or it can inherit how many classes?
One.
Yes. You will find that in Java, a class can only extend one other class. It can only extend one other class. So let me explain this. At this point, at least I have to tell you people. So multiple inheritance is not supported by Java. It is not supported by Java. So multiple inheritance means, let me show you people. For suppose you got a class called as X and you got a method, say A. In this class you got a method A, let's say, and you got another class, say called as Y, and you got a method called as B. So you got another class here called as Z, sorry, Z, and say you got a method called as C. Okay, so you got three classes. Each class has got a method. Now in this case here, what if, sorry, uh, I can make this class Z extends Y. Okay, so this is perfectly fine. How many methods do we have in Z class now? How many methods we got in Z class now? There is only one method, actually two methods, B and C. In the Z class we got two methods. How? You see, one method is defined in class C, but it inherits another method from class B, class 5, I'm sorry. It inherits another method from class Y. Z class inherits another method from class 5. Yes. Okay. So hope everyone got it. You see, I can't make the Z class extends X and Y. I will not be able to add this. I can't do this. Okay. Java will not allow you people to do this. Okay. So hope you people got it. If this is allowed, actually this is called as multiple inheritance. That means a class extending more than one class. A class here, it extends more than one class. It is actually called as multiple inheritance here. Yes. Okay, but it is not supported in Java. You see, for suppose if I do this, class Y, it extends X. In this case, okay, in class Y, how many methods we got in class Y? How many methods we got?
Two method.
Two methods. That's right. We got two methods in class Y. Is because one method, so it is inheriting from the superclass, that is X. From X class it inherits the method A, and Y in the Y class we got one method B. Okay, fine. Now how about Z class here? So how many methods are defined in the Z class? What do people think? Three. That's right. You know, in the Z
Uh,
class we'll have three methods. How? So you see, Y has got two methods. Now Z extends Y. That means from Y, Z will get two methods. And one method is already defined in Z, that is C. So altogether three methods. You know, this type of inheritance is actually called as multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. Okay, multi-level inheritance. So this is supported in Java. This is the most common type of inheritance which you'll see in Java, multi-level inheritance. So this is very much supported by Java. Yes. So what you understood, a class can only extend one other class directly. Just it can extend one other class. Okay. How about interface? A class can implement how many interfaces? Yes. You know, a class can implement any number of interfaces, but a class can extend only one other class. A class can extend only one other class here. Okay. So that is the other difference. So these are the differences between inheritance, sorry, interface. Now we have discussed about interfaces and classes as well. Now you know inheritance also only multi-level is supported in Java by the classes, whereas a class can implement multiple interfaces. That is possible. Now, based on this description, I've explained everything in interface, and now you already know abstract classes. We have discussed about it in detail. Now you people tell me when to use abstract class. Just I would like to know from you people. When do we use abstract class? When we are supposed to use abstract class? Yes, okay.
When we need to define a method without a body, without
Okay,
a definition, without a definition. Then we need to mention a method without a definition.
but we can also achieve the same thing using interface, right?
Yes.
So maybe if you're looking only for methods to give a particular subclass, okay. Yeah, I can go for this, I guess, from Neil. You see, okay, there is one more answer from Neil. Or if your methods are strictly meant to be used and modified within a group of classes. Yeah, I can say that through the abstract classes, we can share common code. Subclasses will be inheriting the members of the superclass, right? So you see, through the abstract class, we can share common code, or common methods, I can say. It is very much possible. You see, what I'm saying here is that if you got some common code which you want to share across the subclasses, go for an abstract class. For example, we saw this in the last class. You see, in case of employee class, now we have methods, members in this employee class. We got variables as variables here, and we got a non-abstract method also, which will be used by both the subclasses. That means there is some common code here, which you can share across the subclasses through the abstract class. But can we achieve the same thing using interface? Can we share that common code like non-abstract methods, variables through the interface? Is it possible?
No. No.
It is not possible, yes. You can't do the same thing using interface. So abstract classes are meant to be used for the sake of inheritance, for sharing the common code and all. And also, yes, you see, through the abstract class, we can also provide the details about the methods which a subclass can implement. Optionally, we can do that, as we have discussed in the last class. So you see, I gave you a requirement. Now you see this class has got some non-abstract as well as abstract methods, which indicates the subclass should inherit this non-abstract methods and make use of it. Subclass inherits abstract method also, which it has to override. Yeah, but in case of interface that is not possible, you cannot share any common code. Next, you see, a class can extend or it can inherit only one class at a time, right? A class can only extend one other class, whereas an interface can implement, sorry, whereas a class can implement multiple interfaces. Class can implement multiple interfaces, a number of interfaces. So we can, I'm talking about abstract, sorry, I'm sorry, class, right? Yeah. Now, these are the main differences between an interface and abstract class. Yes. So, if it is clear, let's move on. Can we instantiate an interface? Can we create an object for the interface? What do people think? Can we create object for the interface?
No, no, we cannot.
No, we cannot instantiate it. At first place, interface doesn't represent any objects. Yeah, that is not possible. Yes, you can't do that. Okay, so that's it. Now let's move on. So I will talk about another important topic here, encapsulation. So can you people tell me what is it? What is encapsulation? Okay, encapsulation.
It is like bringing all together, or like packing, holding everything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, bringing all together. Okay, so what we are bringing together here?
All the classes methods. I think so.
Okay, I can say that encapsulation is binding the data and the code which operates on the data together or wrapping, I can say. Sorry, binding, or you can say wrapping. Let me just make use of this. Wrapping the data and the code which operates on the data together into a single unit. So it's called encapsulation here. Okay. So wrapping the data and the code which operates on the data together. Yes. That wrapping the data and the code which operates on the data together into a single unit is called encapsulation. So now I have a question. How do we achieve encapsulation in Java? How do we achieve this encapsulation in Java? Yes, what do people think? Using brackets, okay. So any other answer? Actually, we achieve encapsulation through the class. Okay, class, through the class here we achieve encapsulation. I said wrapping the data in the code which operates in the data. Data, how it is represented in the class here? Yes. What members of the class represents the data?
Variables
Fields.
methods.
Yes, fields or variables, right? So they represent the data. And now you see we got methods in the class, and I can say that methods, they represent the code which operates on that data. Now we are binding these two things together using a class. So through the class we achieve this encapsulation here. Yes. So together the class now is a unit. It acts as a unit which helps us to bind or wrap this data. That means the fields and the code, the methods. The code means the methods which operate on the data together. Yes. So why do we need to use this encapsulation concept here? Why have to bind this data? You see this variables and methods, why we are wrapping them in a class? So what exactly we are achieving here this way? So what is the advantage?
Not to be accessed by others.
Yeah, you see the main importance here, the advantages, protecting the data. Okay, protecting the data. For suppose here, you see as of now, the savings account class has got this field of variable balance, and it is declared as public. Okay. Now for suppose here, I'll create a savings account object. I'll do this. Now, see that balance property of field is public, so I can access it here. You see, I can update the balance. So I'll make it 10,000. So we are able to access that balance field. We are able to update it here. So initially the balance was 5,000, and later on we are updating it to by 5,000. So sorry, 10,000. So will there be any issue if we do this? Will there be any issue? Do you think is this appropriate to update the balance here this way? I can say technically there is no problem as far as we are concerned with the programming perspective. From Java's perspective, technically there is no issue. But as per the business rules of a bank, when the balance of an account should be updated, should be modified, when the balance has to change.
When it is operating, just a transaction is done.
Yes, when a transaction is performed on that account, either the customers withdraw or transfer or deposit, only in that cases the account's balance has to be modified, should be updated. As of now, you see no transaction is performed on this account. You see balance is changing. So this is not appropriate according to the bank rules, right? So this data is not protected here. You see, we can't enforce the rules of the bank now here. There is an issue. So how do we protect the data? So what to do? Now class, as I told you people, it helps us to achieve the encapsulation here. Now, but you see, just defining a class won't mean that okay, the class is fully encapsulated. So there are certain things which you need to take care of here. For example, now you see balance is public, so it should not be public, so it should be private. So direct access to this variable or field should not be provided. Direct access to that fields variable should not be provided. So you see now the same statement will throw an error. So the statement which I've written earlier to update the balance, you see, modify that balance will throw an error. What is it? What is the error? The field savings account dot balance is not visible. It says that field is not visible. That field is private, right? That means now we don't have direct access to that method. Sorry, that field. There is no direct access to that field. Now it is protected. It is declared as private, right? So that field is only visible or accessible within that class. And you see, only the members of that class will be able to operate on that variable or field. Only the members of this class will be able to operate on that field. Yes. So you see, now we are able to achieve this data protection through the class. You see how I'm saying through the class we are able to achieve this. Class, it is, it draws the boundaries. It is drawing that boundaries. It sets that boundaries. The visibility of that variable or field, now you see it is confined to that class, strictly confined to that class, and only the members of the same class will be able to access that variable, now private variable. Okay, so hope you people got it. So it is always recommended that, okay, so you protect the data, you declare that fields as private and provide the access to the fields through the methods, so that when an action performs for an appropriate action, that data is also modified accordingly. Yes. So hope you people got it. But can I say that this class is completely encapsulated, is fully encapsulated? Can I say that this is class is completely or fully encapsulated? The objects of this class will be completely or fully encapsulated.
No.
Because you see still the pin number is very much visible. So pin is not supposed to be visible like that, right? Yes, even the account number can be easily accessed and modified. Still the account number and pin can be easily modified, right? Yes, there is no such restriction on that. Okay, so what we can achieve through encapsulation? Data protection. So we can make sure that all the access to the methods, sorry, to the variables is provided through the methods. So there is no direct access to the fields or properties. So through the methods only the data is processed. For example, you see this methods like withdraw. Through this methods itself, the balance has to be updated, and that rules have to be applied definitely. That is also important, crucial. Okay, so any questions? Please let me know. Okay, good. So I will add, definitely I will add that assignment today, the task which you have to do. Okay, I'll add a document. Please go through the Dropbox. Now I've become a little free now, so definitely I can do that. And tomorrow we'll have the class at same time, but we'll have it for we'll have this class extended for a couple of hours. Okay, as usual. So weekend class will spend more time. Okay, yes. So please make sure that you attend this class tomorrow at same time, but it will be for 3.5 to 4 hours. Okay, yes. Please be prepared for that. Okay, so thank you.